These 5 AI tools save me tens of thousands of dollars per month in software and payroll costs. In today's video, I'll be sharing them with you. These are all tools that I personally use within my businesses. They help me so much. And if you're currently running any type of business, I think these tools will make a huge impact on how you build and grow your business. Like seriously, I think if you guys incorporate this tech stack, you should probably be able to increase your output by 10 to 50x. And you'll want to watch the whole video because every single tool I talk about has its own uses. And we'll talk about all the creative ways that you guys can use these tools within your business. So the first tool that I want to talk about is Claude Code. And this is a tool that I think is imperative to every business owner out there right now. Like, I think this is probably one of the most important things that you should be incorporating into your business. So Claude Code is Anthropic's AI coding agent, and it basically lives in your terminal and it can do pretty much everything for you, right? It does way beyond just coding. It can write, debug, and ship entire projects in just minutes. So next to Claude Code is Claude Cowork. This is a bit more of a simple way to use Claude Code, but if you're a little bit more technical, I just recommend using Claude Code within a platform like VS Code, Anti-Gravity, or even in Terminal. So the biggest thing with Claude, and this is why it's so crazy, is that it's basically an AI agent. It's literally a person, like a human, and you can describe what you want in plain English, and it's going to plan the implementation. It's actually going to write across different files, has access to your desktop, and can actually, create and edit files. And so it's way beyond ChatGPT. It also has multi-file awareness. And by the way, this stuff might change depending on when you're watching this video. But as of right now, it is the new hottest thing in AI. And founders like me, we're spending so much time learning Claude Code and figuring out how to actually implement it into our businesses. What I recommend doing is spend 1 to 2 days watching a ton of YouTube tutorials on Claude Code. Download something like Anti-Gravity or VS Code. Sign up for the Pro plan at least for Claude Code or one of the more expensive ones. And start spinning up multiple AI agents that work on different parts of your business simultaneously. You can create different skills and create different agents using .md files. So these are markdown files. I don't want to get too technical in this video, but the amount of stuff that you guys can do with Claude Code is insane. For example, you can clone an entire website in just a few minutes. It will literally write the code for you. You can tell it different changes that you want, and it's going to do it. You can build custom scripts that pull data from your CRM, generate weekly reports, and then email them to your team. You can create customer-facing tools like quote calculators, booking widgets, dashboards. These are all things that you used to have to hire someone to make for you, but you can literally do it and you don't need any coding experience, right? Like I have 0 coding experience, but I've been able to make some really cool things using Claude Code. If you're not technical at all, I just recommend using the Claude app. You can use Claude Code, Cowork, and just normal Claude within that. If you're a bit more technical and you want to run multiple instances at the same time, you get something like Anti-Gravity or VS Code, and then run Claude Code within that. Make a bunch of Claude.md files to give Claude permanent context about your business, your brand voice, all your SOPs and stuff like that, and then just start using it within your business. Claude Code's probably the most trendy one on this list, but the next tools I'm talking about are equally as impressive. Okay, tool number 2 is going to be GoHighLevel. And this is basically the platform that I run all of my businesses on. Like I literally cannot imagine not using HighLevel because it is that powerful. Think of it as your AI powered business operating system, right? As your CRM. It has tons and tons of tools that it replaces. So I actually save a lot of money with my HighLevel subscription. There's different plans. So there's one that's about $100 a month. There's one that's also about $300 a month. But yeah, essentially I run all my businesses, my agency, my media business, all these different things on HighLevel. And these are all multiple 7-figure companies. Now, just a little bit more about HighLevel and what it is. I like to view it as an all-in-one CRM, funnel builder, marketing platform. And in the last year, they actually introduced a ton of really cool AI features that I think make it a no-brainer for any business owner. So for example, there's AI Employee. This is a suite of different AI tools that basically work together inside the platform. There's voice AI, conversation AI, workflow AI, content AI, funnel AI, and also reviews AI. Now, of course, all these have their own separate capabilities, but just to give you guys an example, for example, voice AI, this is basically an AI phone receptionist. So it can answer your inbound calls 24/7, even when you're not working, and it can qualify leads, it collects caller details, it books appointments, it sends follow-up texts, all that stuff. What I would do is basically have this pick up after hours. So when there's not a human available, it's going to actually pick up. And you can basically fully customize the voice as well as the script, so it really sounds like your brand or company. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but for example, conversation AI. This is basically like an AI chat agent, which I think every business owner should have. So you can deploy this across SMS, across your website, across, let's say, Instagram DMs, Facebook Messenger. I use this extensively, and it can basically have conversations with potential clients or buyers. You can pre-qualify leads. It can book appointments directly within the chat. And yeah, this for me is a no-brainer. There's also a lot of really cool AI tools for content. So if you want to use their AI to generate social posts, email copy, ad copy, blog content, it can do all of that. If you also want to build a website or funnel with HighLevel, it has the AI capabilities to do that. And also, before I forget, Reviews AI. It can automatically respond to every single Google review, for example, in your brand voice. And yeah, I don't want to get too detailed on this video, but I have a bunch of HighLevel tutorials on my channel that you guys can check out. For any business owner that wants a really solid CRM plus a bunch of other functionality all built into one platform, like I said, essentially an operating system for your business, then I highly recommend it. If you guys use my link down below to sign up for HighLevel, I'll give you my snapshot. So these are all the templates, all the workflows that I use within my businesses for free. And yeah, everyone that I get to try HighLevel falls in love with it. Okay, so the third AI tool I use within my business is less of a traditional AI tool, but more of an email marketing tool that has a ton of AI functionality. So if you guys aren't aware, like email marketing, it is the dinosaur in the room. It's old, but it works so well. And if email isn't a huge part of your business, I definitely think you are missing out on a ton of revenue. So essentially, I use Omnisend to send out a lot of email campaigns within my businesses. And with this, we are able to retain more clients. We're able to find new clients from leads that fill out forms. And essentially, yeah, we're just able to make a lot more money for the business. They have a really big AI suite that can help you automate content creation, targeting, personalization. And something that I always tell people is that automated emails drive 37% of all email generated sales while only being 2% of email volume. So even though it is super boring, the ROI you get from emails is insane. Now, Omnisend does have a free plan available. I'll actually have a link down below, but I do recommend scaling to one of their paid plans at some point because you get a lot more functionality as well as a lot more contacts and monthly email sends. One of my favorite things with Omnisend is the email AI. So it can basically generate complete branded emails. So we're talking subject lines, preview text, the body copy, all based on whatever campaign goals you have. It can also analyze your website so it knows your brand voice, your fonts, colors, all that stuff. And so what I like to do is I'll use the email AI to draft my campaigns. Then I'll spend about 5 minutes editing it versus if I spent, let's say, hours writing it from scratch. For those of you that are a bit more technical when it comes to emails, their AI segment builder is insane. For example, you can describe your audience in plain English. For example, customers who bought jeans but not socks in the last 30 days, or subscribers who haven't opened emails in, let's say, 3 months. And then their AI is basically going to translate this into really precise targeting criteria and build out these segments for you. Then it can send out targeted offers to these very specific segments that you probably wouldn't have thought of. And this can capture a ton of, what otherwise would have been missed revenue. They also have an AI form builder. So if you want to collect leads by building some type of form, their AI can actually design these forms really well. They have also a ton of really great templates. And the AI can also do optimization testing. So this can increase your submission rates by actually a pretty significant amount through automated display variation testing. So what I recommend you guys doing is if you don't have a dedicated email platform for your business yet, check out Omnisend, right? They have a free tier that you guys can play around with, but essentially you should be sending more emails and more text messages, right? Omnisend can do both of these. And the general rule is the more emails and texts you send in your business, the more money you're going to make. And so if you use AI to really optimize the emails and campaigns that you send out, this is going to be a huge ROI for your business. I also have more detailed tutorials about Omnisend on my channel, so I'm going to link those down below. Okay, the next tool that we're talking about is OpenClaw. And OpenClaw is a little bit kind of like Claude Code. And if you've been following AI, it got really popular. And essentially what I like to think of it as is it is a 24/7 24/7 AI agent. I know entrepreneurs building out really complex OpenClaw systems that essentially run, let's say, their entire marketing department or entire HR department. And the best part is it is a completely free tool. So it is open source, right? It's this open source AI agent that runs on your own server or computer, and it connects to your files, connects to your messaging apps. And it's really not like just a chatbot. It's basically an autonomous agent that can actually do tasks. So it can browse the web, it can manage your files, it can run scripts, it can control browsers, it can send messages, and you can automate a lot of different workflows using OpenClaw. Essentially what you do is you connect it to a messaging platform. So let's say WhatsApp or Telegram or Slack. And what I like to do with this is my personal AI assistant, right? So I message it like a coworker, but instead of actually telling me things, it just actually does it. Now, the way that I run my OpenClaw is I host it on a VPS. In my opinion, this is the best way to do it. I see a lot of other people, they will go out and buy a Mac Mini or a separate computer and run OpenClaw only on it. For me, I think a VPS works a lot better. That's why I use my VPS to run OpenClaw. It runs 24/7. And overall, I think it's a lot cheaper. I'll have a link down below to Hostinger. That is the VPS that I use. I just recommend using something like the KVM2 or KVM4 plan. It's really, really affordable. And basically the whole setup for OpenClaw is extremely easy. They have a one-click Docker template that is made specifically for OpenClaw, and it should take you under 5 minutes to deploy. Yeah, the reason why you want to have this on a separate computer or VPS is solely for security purposes, right? And I don't recommend intermingling it with your personal computer and stuff like that. It can get a little bit messy. Now, there's a skill system within OpenClaw that's very similar to Claude Code. And these are basically plugins that give OpenClaw new abilities. For example, it can do email management. It can do calendar coordination. It can do a lot of research on the web. It can help you with coding. It can do a lot of analysis on data. And it's very, very close to just having a person sitting at a computer with access to your accounts and files, and you just telling them what to do. For example, you could say something like this: check my competitor's pricing page every Monday and alert me if anything changes. It will literally set a schedule and do this one task every Monday and send you whatever report you want. How I like to use it is I like to have a daily morning brief. So I basically have OpenClaw check my calendar, my emails, and it sends me a summary via Telegram. Now, if you want help setting up OpenClaw, I have a very detailed video on how to actually do it. I'll link that down below in the description. But overall, this is a super, super cool tool. I just recommend having a VPS to run it instead of an actual computer. If you guys use my link to Hostinger, I'll have it down below. And yeah, I just recommend using something like Hostinger VPS to host your OpenClaw. I've compared a bunch of different VPSs. They're really affordable. If you guys use my link down below and also use code Charlie Chang, it's going to give you an additional 10% off to save you guys a bunch of money. Yeah, whatever you guys can do in Claude Code, you can pretty much do in OpenClaw as well. So I want to present this as an alternative if you don't want to, use Claude. The main thing is that you should definitely be starting to use these types of AI agents to do things within your business, not just plan, but also actually execute on things, because this is really going to multiply the output of you as well as your current team by so much. And I know there is a big learning curve to AI agents, to OpenClaw, to Claude Code, but investing that time right now is super important for you guys to do. And I just hope that this video could at least maybe hold some of you guys accountable to doing that. So the last tool that we're talking about is just going to be any of the AI platforms like ChatGPT, normal Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, whatever you want to use. Everyone knows all these tools, and most of you guys are probably already using them, but you should be using them all the time. For example, I essentially have ChatGPT and Claude as my AI chief of staff, as my mentor, as someone that I bounce ideas off of, help plan things, and just give me a lot of really good insight. These are all general purpose AI assistants, but for most people, when I see how they're using them, they're only using about 10% of what they can actually do. And instead of just using them as like asking a question and getting some type of answer, I like to use it as a really strategic thinking partner. Like I said, essentially a mentor that knows everything, that can look through data instantaneously. And so, for example, one way that I had ChatGPT really help me out this year was I broke down my entire business and I essentially told it, how can I monetize better? It gave me some really good ideas on how to monetize my channels, how to structure my overseas recruiting agency, and just really optimize everything. It truly is super smart. And yeah, it's like having a friend that can basically help take your company in the right direction. Another way that I used it was not necessarily for my business, but more for taxes, which of course involves my business. I essentially upload all my bank statements, a bunch of information about revenue, profit and loss statements. And I basically had ChatGPT analyze everything and build me a report. It had so much great insight about where money was leaking from, where I could improve things. And it also helps me with my bookkeeping reports. I think every single one of you guys watching this video should be using something like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever it is as your thinking partner. Use it as a mentor that you actually take advice from. I also use it to help me build prompts that I plug into other AI things. For example, recently I was using a platform called Hostinger Horizons to basically build me web apps, and I wanted to build a mortgage calculator. So instead of just writing some simple prompt, I had ChatGPT build me a super detailed prompt on all the features and things I wanted on this website. I just copied and pasted that prompt into Horizons, and it built me a really amazing app. I'm not going to talk too much else about what you can use ChatGPT and Claude and stuff like this for. Just know that you can use it for essentially everything, and the amount that you guys are probably using it is probably awesome. It's probably a lot better than the average person, but I encourage you to just try using it more. Have it open on your desktop all the time and always be using it. I truly believe that if you take advantage of AI tools like these in this video, you'll be able to run a much more efficient and optimized business that makes more money with less work so that you can have a much better lifestyle. You can also make all your team members a lot more productive if you have them learn these AI tools, because yeah, there's always going to need to be someone that is running these tools like an actual person. And so if you have team members already that can do that, just teach each of them all these things, all these tools. And you can see how there is this gigantic web effect. So yeah, these are 5 really important AI tools that I think every business owner should be using. When you implement all these tools we talked about in this video, you should have a really efficient business that is really good at marketing, perfect CRM, a lot of AI employee features. There will be AI agents basically doing a bunch of different tasks simultaneously. And I know learning AI can seem like a bit of a chore, and there's also so much stuff to actually learn. But coming from someone that took the time to learn and is constantly still learning, this has paid huge dividends within my business. So I think every one of you guys should make AI one of your top priorities. Links to all the different tools that we talked about in this video are going to be down below in the description. Again, I used all these tools personally myself. That's why I recommend them. Some of those links may be affiliate links, so I will earn a commission if you use them. That's at no additional cost to you, and it might even save you guys a bunch of money. But yeah, I do want to say thank you so much in advance. If you guys got any value from this video, make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe for more content just like this. On my channel, I do a ton of videos about entrepreneurship, finance, tutorials, and it's all stuff to help you guys live a financially successful life. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.